We want to open our heart to you, our journey with you, our story with you, in hopes that you'll partner with us in our dream of having a family.
Yeah.
This journey, this story is not an easy one necessarily to share, but we have so much hope and peace about this next season. We're taking steps to have a family through surrogacy.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that was good. Just feel so vulnerable. Just like already, oh man. Thanks. It's just hard.
Yeah. We're celebrating 10 years of marriage
Yeah.
in August.
Yeah.
I mean, really, since right after getting married, we wanted a family for 10 years now. It's been a journey where we've been pursuing that. There's been some significant challenges along the way.
A lot of it began with like a lot of health issues. It got so bad where I couldn't even maintain a job. This was like pretty immediately following in our marriage. There's a lot of health issues that happened and we didn't know what was going on, but like it was really difficult. I was in and out of the hospital. He had to like help me up the stairs. He had to help me get dressed. It literally felt like I was a shell of a human being. A lot of it came down to like we figured out like Lyme disease. And so I had like figured out that I had chronic Lyme. We began getting treatments. But in the midst of all of that season, there was a desire to get healthy, to have a family. And then in the midst of that season is where like I would get pregnant and then miscarry and then get pregnant and then miscarry. And so there was a lot of like grief and like processing just like what was going on like in my body, but also just like the practical loss of life, of a baby that we cherished and we loved.
So right after we miscarried, after having treatment, I remember that it was that Sunday after, as we're just journeying this, still holding on to hope, it was during our prayer and worship time before service. This phrase just was filling my heart. There's so much to be grateful for. And that's honestly where that song, if you're in our community, you know that song. That's where it started, was really the Sunday after we had miscarried and found out, and just wrestling with disappointment, but also holding on to hope and holding on to trust and faith that we'll see God's goodness. And so we've just continued to try to lean into that and to hold on to that. And it's been a hard thing to hold on to, but there really is, there has been, and so much to be grateful for as God has just kept showing up, to us even in the middle of the disappointment and pain of it all.
I can honestly say that I know God in such a really intimate way because of what we'd endured and walked through together, together in marriage and together like in step with the Lord. And I think one of our biggest prayers has probably been to just like, God, like in the midst of all of this, like would you keep our heart tender toward you and toward our community, toward other people. And I feel like he really has answered that prayer.
So yeah, after it was like 5.5 years of being married, and we had been pregnant a few times and had miscarried, and we just also wanted answers, and so we came to this clinic here in Olympia and see what next steps would be.
We found out we had the fibroid, and he basically said, I've helped people who have had that, and so we had a lot of hope, and we were just kind of moving forward and getting some help, and then we ended up getting pregnant within the first month that we were just getting help from him here. We were confirmed pregnant, and then it just didn't hold, and this is our last miscarriage that we had. And then after that, nothing was changing, nothing was happening, and so basically he kind of recommended that we just get the fibroid taken out because it was getting bigger. And so that's when we kind of pivoted to other solutions.
Yeah, the next step of getting the surgery to take it out, and then we wouldn't be able to try for 4 months or 5 months, I can't remember how long he said. After surgery, and but then we could pick up the journey again and keep trying after that. But so we reached out to a really highly recommended surgeon in the Tacoma area, and it took a while to see her, but We ended up getting an appointment, and by the time we had a pre-op appointment, we had to get fresh imaging done of just her uterus and the mass, and it was actually the week leading up to the surgery. We had, a last appointment and found out that because of the size, and actually during that time span from
Like a year previous?
it had tripled in size.
Yeah.
Within it was like an 8-9 month time frame. I mean, it was causing you so much discomfort and pain.
Yeah.
And, it was just really time to deal with it and to take it out. But because of the size of it, instead of minimally invasive, they actually had to cut her open and take that out, which that was a kind of a big deal because for the future that would mean that you couldn't have the baby naturally.
Yeah, they'd force me into doing a C-section.
C-section. Yeah. So we were like, okay, we're gonna adjust, but we still had so much hope in our heart to be able to get this thing out and then heal up and then continue our journey.
She called us that evening and she said, something's just not sitting right. I can't move forward in good conscience without knowing what I'm actually looking at. So I need you to, as soon as possible, get an MRI and get the dye test, the magnetic dye test, and I just want to see what it's looking like. We scrambled, we drove an hour and a half away because it was the only place that could get us in really quickly. So we went over to Enumclaw and we got the MRI done. Basically, she called us within a couple days or something and was just I can't operate on you.
Yeah, she said I can't in good conscience move forward with the surgery because it looks worrisome for sarcoma, which is an extremely aggressive cancer.
Yeah.
And so she referred us to the top oncologist in the area. This is where the oncologist appointment was. Going into the appointment thinking, and expecting, the option to take the mass out and to be able to keep going on our journey, and we were just expecting us to be able to take it out, but it was at this appointment that he basically gave us the 3 options. We walked in and we just felt
the peace of the Lord.
Yeah, which I assumed I was oh yeah, we'll be able to take it out, you're good. That's kind of what I was anticipating. And then because there was so much peace sitting in there, and then he comes in and he kind of just cuts to the chase, he just laid it out and was you have 3 options because it looks like a really aggressive cancer. They couldn't biopsy it because it was contained in the uterus. They couldn't stick a needle in there, biopsy it, because it could then spread aggressively to the rest of her body. Right now it's contained. And so he was we're not willing to biopsy it, and you have 3 options. Do nothing and
wait it out, do nothing. So
get a second opinion.
Get a second opinion or move forward.
With a full hysterectomy.
Yeah.
So cutting out the whole uterus.
Yeah.
Potentially her ovaries too, if it had spread. So going from being totally filled with peace to then hearing that, it was so surreal. It felt almost like a movie. It was just well, what is going on? Yeah. And he was saying man, let's operate on you this weekend. He was basically we need to do this ASAP, which we needed some time to process. And so we, tentatively set the surgery for a month out.
It was 6 weeks, yeah.
And then, and after that we came right here, right to this spot in this parking garage, and I remember just that was a hard moment. We just cried and
just held each other.
Yeah, I mean, because it was okay, it really set in, we're not talking about the potential of a baby or not having a baby, we're talking about your life.
It was so much just colliding.
Mm-hmm.
It's it felt it's not even just the death of a dream anymore. It's we're actually talking about
yeah, your life.
My life, yeah. Didn't even expect that for a second. Yeah. That was so hard. And I literally had client meetings after this because I was just expecting, oh, this is just gonna be, something simple. We figure out how to move forward, and then I was I can't meet. It was I'm unwell at the moment. Like as we were driving, it kept hitting me and hitting me and hitting me more and more. And yeah, but this moment, I feel like in the parking garage really was where everything just started to like collide.
The potential of like Anya's life at risk, but then also like, especially as we left, I remember like the weightiness of like kind of the death of that dream.
Yeah.
Of really settling in. And I remember like, cause we started talking about even like adoption or foster care, different things. And I remember that one moment you were like, well, I want to see your face, you know, I want to see your face in the baby.
Oh, that shattered me, dude.
Yeah, and like, that was pretty.
Yeah, it broke my heart.
It was a crazy moment. It's weird being back here.
It's weird. I feel the strength from that moment to like now, like 2 years later. Like I feel the strength, and I feel also really grateful because there's like a tenderness in my heart still toward us, like in that season that had to live that out. And there's a part of me that just rejoices, and it's like, look what God has done in 2 years.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Coming out of that, it was essentially a cancer diagnosis.
Yeah.
And then sitting in here and just being present with that reality of what we just heard. But then also like, I remember just like saying like, we're gonna get through this together.
Yeah.
And so then like being here now, it's like, yeah, we did, and we are. And it's crazy.
We did, and we are. I just felt like I wasn't ready to get back in the car and just like return home. It just felt like we needed a second to just kind of be and just think. And this is where you saw the bird flying around the bushes.
Yeah.
And
It's just like reminding me of like the passage where, look at the birds of the air, they neither sow nor reap nor gather into barns, yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not more valuable than they? Yeah, we saw the birds like here in the bushes, and then also like walking back over, there's like trees. It was an aspect of like accepting that this was real, like what we were walking through, but it also felt like God's got us. Because you can just like, in the face of like hard, you can just deny it, and then it's like, it makes it so much harder. For me, it was like accepting that this was a reality, but also coming here, and like, it was accepting also that God was faithful and still aware and present. And it didn't like automatically make the next season easy or better, but it was definitely a moment where like, I feel like we encountered the Lord.
this is all like pretty much for the most part like blackberry bushes, but they were so like effortlessly like hopping back and forth from like branches with like thick thorns on them. And I just was like, I don't know. I think I was just so impacted that like there's so much that they were like scavenging for and like looking for like in life in the midst of thorns, and like that they're still like cared for, they're still attended to, they're still provided for. And I think I was just noting that as he was talking about just noticing the birds like and feeling impacted by that verse.
In that 6-week period, not only, you know, were we getting in environments of faith and prayer and expectancy, but we had a window of time to work with as well, because along with taking out her uterus, like a hysterectomy, they said it was possible if the sarcoma was aggressive enough that they would need to take her ovaries as well. And so with that 6-week time frame, we had an opportunity to take some eggs out and go through that whole process, which is a whole thing in itself. So we took that opportunity, and so we were able to take some eggs out during that window of time, and we ended up moving forward with the surgery. You know, we didn't get that breakthrough like we hoped in that way. And so surgery, you know, day came, we drove up to Tacoma, and Daniel and Teresa were with us, as well as Anya's mom. And, you know, we get there early and get set up and, you know, take her back there. It was just very surreal, all of that. Yeah, this is where we had the surgery. And we were actually right on the other side of this bridge is where the waiting room was. And It was like 15 minutes into the surgery. At this point, all we had was the cancer diagnosis. But because they couldn't test it, that's the first thing they did when they did the surgery, was immediately do like a rapid test to see. And he came out 15 minutes. They had already done essentially the hysterectomy and already like sent it out, tested it, and found out that it wasn't cancerous, which was obviously, I mean, the only thing we wanted to hear. It was a bizarre feeling of like gratefulness that it wasn't cancer, but also robbed and lied to, frustrated, angry, all at once, because it was just like the sense of loss, because it already happened. Like, they took it out.
Well, and they even said that like the backside was basically like rotting. I don't know if rotting's a great word, but like had been cut off from circulation like for so long that it was decaying. Yeah.
We heard the news, and then I just couldn't keep sitting, and so I walked across this bridge and was just trying to be present with the Lord and just with my own heart and soul. And so I sat over there for a while, just alone, and then came back, and we waited the rest of the time for the surgery to be complete. And then Anya's room, like for recovery, was actually just up here in one of these circle windows, I think on the right side, up pretty high.
I love that building.
It was like a week and a half or 2 weeks recovering.
I just remember when we parked, like I didn't want to get out at all. Like I remember looking at everyone waiting, like Daniel, Teresa, my mom were talking across the street, and I just started crying, and I was like, I don't want to go. Like I don't want to get out. Like it was already just like, it felt final. And we know like it's never final, but it just felt like there was a finality to it, that all that we were hoping for, praying for, I just kind of like collided in this moment of like this is it. And like I felt grateful people were here to love me and support me, but like it was just hard to walk in there and to sit in a waiting room, to just be going back into that. And then from there, I don't remember much about like after surgery. I was pretty, I don't think I handled the anesthesia very well, because it took a long time for me to wake up. But I remember waking up like on and off, and then the nurse would come back and shake me awake because I wasn't breathing, like, and they were concerned about that. But yeah, and then recovery started from there.
It's been a lot, and there's days where it's like there's hope and there's light, and then there's days where it's sad, you know, but that's just part of the healing journey. And that we still believe like God's promises over us. We still believe like we are supposed to have a family, and we've been open, honestly, to the Lord and to our journey of like adoption and like foster care, and our hearts are still open in those ways. But also one of the ways that just has highlighted and we feel the most peace and hope and grace on is the surrogacy. And one of our dear friends, Olivia, she connected us to her cousin who has always wanted to be a surrogate. She's a doula and loves being pregnant and loves the whole start to finish, the pregnancy journey. And so Olivia connected us to Laura and Brian, and they live in Canada, and we've been talking with them for the last number of months, and we're just so hopeful that this is an open door for us to step into having a family. And as we've just kept our hearts open, like Anya said, to the Lord and to each other and to those trusted voices and community around us, we all just feel just the affirmation of God on this and the peace of God on this. And there's so much to figure out. There's so many questions and so many things that encompass this journey, this step, but it seems like doors are opening. It seems like the clarity is coming, the answers are there. And you know, part of that, obviously, it costs money, you know, from consultations to testing to ultrasounds to the IVF itself to doctor's appointment, medication, like it all costs money. Lawyers
too,
like there's so much that goes into it. And so we need your help. We need your help to make it happen. We need your help
Yeah.
to make this dream real.
I feel like for me, like this is something where like God is just asking me to like trust the people around me, trust community, and not just try to do things like on my own or figure it out on my own. And so this is also a step of faith for me, and it can be really hard for me because like I'm just used to I'm like, I'll figure it out, I'll figure something out. But I think this is an opportunity for me to just rely on the Lord and just trust what He's doing in the midst of my community. And so right before surgery, like God was speaking to me, and I can't shake this thought. When Jesus was like telling His disciples, His closest community, His closest friends, that He was about to be delivered into the hands of the high priest, like to die as a ransom for many, His disciples didn't even understand. He told them everything, and they're about to arrest Him in the garden, and Peter cut off the ear of like a servant to the priest, and even still was trying to fight for their idea and their preference of what a Messiah would look like when He came, even though Jesus explicitly told them exactly what would happen. And I feel like a phrase that He like was telling me before surgery was like, you know, Anya, like they didn't understand that there was life on the other side of the grave, even though a situation can look really hopeless and really dark. And even though this didn't happen maybe the way you wanted it to, there's life on the other side of this. And you can have faith and hope and expectancy and just watch what miracles I will do, like watch what I will do in the midst of your friends and family and your life, like and like the family yet to come, like just have expectancy and hope. And it's been like definitely a war of hope, I feel like in the past like couple years, because it's like where there would be areas like the one like before the surgery that I had control, like I didn't have that anymore. Like I couldn't like tune my body or track my cycle or anything like that. I literally had zero control, and it was such a war for hope in this area of full dependency, where like I literally had no control. I just had to depend on God to get me through, and I had to learn to be vulnerable with my community in ways that like I would have maybe just pushed through a different way, in a way that I had control before. But then it's like having to tell people that I love or that I lead to that, like, yeah, I'm really hurt and I'm disappointed. But I felt like that brought so much breakthrough and intimacy in different ways that I didn't ever expect. And so I'm just trusting, and we're trusting that this video, that this story ministered to you and maybe gave you hope, maybe stirred like in your heart to pray for us, to give to us, to be a part of this journey. And for that, like, just thank you. And truly, like, for all we've been through, the cry of my heart, the cry of our heart is still like, oh, glory be to God for everything that He's doing, for everything that He will do. And like, there's a genuine like faith and expectancy that I know that He will finish what He started. And then maybe it won't look like I thought it looked like, but at the end of the day, it's not my plan, it's not my will, but I can always submit to His. I can always be grateful, even in the midst of all of this. And I am, and I'm crying because it's painful to recount, but my heart is so like thankful to the Lord for all that He sustained us through and brought us through in the midst of this too. So yeah.